Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming and spending a little bit of time with us on this beautiful Wednesday night. I hope it's beautiful where you're at. I'm in an air-conditioned room, so it's beautiful where I'm at. So we're so glad you are taking the time to come and spend some time with us. We're certainly excited about the lesson, the class, the meeting that Terry is going to present to us tonight. I want to say before we get in, I'm going to ask Terry to say something, but I want to say before that, I want to remind everybody that we are here just helping out Rabbi Pesach Sherbo. This is actually his class, and we thank him so much for being confident enough with us that we would come on here and promote the Creator through Torah for the Nations YouTube channel and B'nai Noach Connection with Israel Facebook page. I'm about to get tongue-tied there. That is a mouthful to say, but anyway, so we're so glad whichever avenue, whichever social media you're listening to us on tonight, we're going to ask you to subscribe to that, share the videos, give a thumbs up, and by all means become a partner of Torah for the Nations YouTube channel or B'nai Noach Connection with Israel Facebook page. All right, having said all that, Terry, would you greet everybody for a minute, and I will get ready for our tzedakah time.
That'll work. Good evening, everyone. Glad everyone could be here. I want to greet everyone on the YouTube channel, Torah for the Nations YouTube. Those that are in the Zoom room, we have, well, of course, Scotty and Thomas, Samuela, Veronica, Frank, Wendell, and Annie. It's in our live Zoom room with us, and also those who are maybe following us on the B'nai Noach Connection with Israel streaming in the classroom. I don't, Thomas. Well, you got that one, don't you? Yeah. So, and we have the Power Faith radio station. I want to welcome everyone that's listening around the world on the radio, internet radio. Thank you for joining with us. If you've been staying with us in this series tonight, we will be going back to Psalms 145, and we will be finishing it with 19, 20, and 21, verses 19, 20, 21. We're going to try our best to get through those in a good, decent length of time and start something new next week. And I'll try to remember to share a little bit of that with you at the end of this class. Are you about ready, Scotty?
I am ready.
All right.
Ready. Tonight we're going to use this tzedakah box someone sent us. It's actually got a page in there that talks about tzedakah and giving charity. And of course, I can't read Hebrew as well as I know some of you out there probably can, but I did look at a couple of the words on here, and I had somebody translate that for me, and I want to share something with you tonight just for a little bit. And I knew this, but some of the teachers that I have, and also Rabbi Pesach Sherbo has shared this with me. You know, when you give, now we're, you know, as Terry said, I think it was last week, that tzedakah is more than just giving money. It's giving a helping hand, even a smile, holding the door for somebody. Maybe you get groceries for somebody. I mean, it's just a wide variety of things that you can do. And the word tzedakah is actually justice. Am I saying that correctly, Terry?
It's righteousness.
Righteousness.
Or
righteousness. And doing the right thing. But I want to tell you about this dollar here that I have here. If I can see this, hold on. I should have prepared for this part of it. Hold on. I should have prepared for this part of it. This dollar was printed in, well, this is a new one, 2017. This dollar has traveled since 2017 to end up here tonight in our tzedakah time. And I want to tell you, as we give this dollar in tzedakah tonight, and we've got more to give, but as we give this tonight, we've elevated this dollar. This dollar has traveled a long way to be elevated. Now, it's not just the dollar that's been elevated. I really, this concept, I love what Rabbi Chaim Richmond said, that it elevates it to the point that everybody who's touched this dollar in the past, everything that it went through to get here tonight to this meeting to be put into our tzedakah box is also being elevated. They're also being touched. As this dollar was printed, those people that had touched the paper even. Now, this is a great concept, Terry, to think about. They didn't know it, but they were producing this dollar so it would come through time and end up here tonight as we give it in our tzedakah time. So I just wanted to share a little bit with that. I think that's fascinating. And I may be the only one that thinks the depth of that fascination, but I think that's fascinating that we're elevating in the giving of this everyone who ever touched this. So,
Hey, Scotty.
Yes.
I had a little bit of that. That's
please do.
That's how a mitzvah works.
Wow. Go ahead, Terry, with that just for a minute. Go ahead.
When you do a mitzvah is translated commandment, law, things like that. But mitzvah, it's a deed. So when you do a good deed, it goes beyond the person that you did it for. In both ways, in your life and in the life, it continues on. It's I've heard several analogies like the butterfly effect, or the throwing a rock in the pond and it ripples out. But when you do a mitzvah, it does the same thing. It ripples out. It continues. Wow. You could do a mitzvah for a person, do a good deed for a person, and it could impact. You'll never know this, and the person you did it for may not even know it. It may even impact their children or grandchildren. So wow. Same concept.
Baruch Hashem. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, here we go, everybody. The first ones we're going to do tonight is in blessed memory. Also, I want to say every name mentioned in this tzedakah time, we're also dedicating this class, this meeting, in their honor. So go ahead and we'll say that again at the end of the meeting. In blessed memory of Gavin and Aline Giles. We're also, someone sent some tzedakah in tonight, again for in blessed memory of Nancy Overall. Now we've got some people who need some healing touches or touches in their body, so we're giving tzedakah tonight for Ethelene Moore. And I'm hoping I can pronounce all these names correctly. Sarah Carolyn, I think they call her Carolyn. Carol, also giving tonight tzedakah for Rabbi Pesach Sherbo. We think he's home. We believe he's doing fine, so we're giving tzedakah for him. Also tonight, someone sent us tzedakah for Al Overall. I haven't heard how his back is doing, his surgery. Haven't heard anything about that. Have you, Terry?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we'll keep up to date on that. Try to get a hold of them. And then also Sally Justice, we're giving tzedakah. Someone sent us tzedakah for her. Also remembering Richard Helton tonight. I haven't got any updates on Richard. I don't know if he's still in recovery mode from fracturing his, what was it, his pelvis?
He fell and broke his hip, broke his pelvis. But, I haven't even seen him really post anything here lately. I generally get some stuff in my messenger from him, and also in my, since we're friends on Facebook, I generally see things, but I haven't seen him post in a while.
He has posted a couple of things, but it is far and few between. So we're giving tzedakah for him tonight. Also, Thomas, your mother. Thomas, if you would give us the name of your mother before we go off. Your mama?
Sheila Shells.
Okay, we're giving tzedakah for her tonight. Also giving tzedakah tonight for Scott Casey. All right, I've got to get this on down in here. Hold on just a minute. Okay, now we're giving, as always, Amuela, this is being lifted tonight. someone always makes sure they sends us some funds for you. So we're giving tzedakah for you tonight. Thomas, we're giving tzedakah for you tonight. And also, well, I'm already having trouble putting this in here. Veronica, you also have some friends out there. And give me just a minute. I love it when you have to really just, push it on in the box. That's great. We're giving tzedakah for you, Veronica. We're so glad you made it home. I know it's going to be some time that you'll be recuperating. I told Veronica when she goes on an adventure, man, does she go on an adventure. If I live next to Veronica and she said, hey, come on, go with me, we're going to go to the grocery store, I would say, let me pack a backpack and a cooler and some sandwiches because we're going to be gone for a little bit. Veronica, how long did you travel? How many days did you travel?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. I didn't know. Gosh, it was almost a month.
Almost.
And just over 5,000 miles.
5,000 miles just to come and see us.
Just to see you guys.
I'm tickled to death, Veronica. Thank you so much.
And I'm still recovering. Trust me, I'm getting a little too old for this, I tell you.
Okay. Hey, if you'll go over to Facebook and post the link for Larry Beck, maybe just message him to come into the Zoom room. I think some of you know how to do that. So, Veronica, we're so glad you made it home, and we're so glad you chose to take the journey to come and see us. And I hope we lived up to your expectation of what.
More so. You guys are amazing. That's all I can say. That was an amazing journey. Definitely.
We are so glad that we had the opportunity to meet you, Veronica. And you know what? We may have the opportunity again soon. We may be the ones doing the long adventure next time. So we'll just see how that goes, Veronica.
Works for me.
Okay. So let me get this dollar for you in here. It's going, Veronica. Also, we had a few birthdays this week. Cole Younger, I think it was yesterday or today. Today. So Cole. Also, Alicia Hampton. I want to tell you something about Alicia Hampton. She was going through cancer 2 years ago, and I remember she wore a wig and nobody knew it was a wig. And when she finally got released from the doctor, we saw her. She's a waitress at a place that we go and eat sometimes, and I looked at her and I said, "Did you get your hair cut?" And she said, "No, it's just now growing out." And she told us the story, and as she told it to us, I just started crying. And now she's got, just full of hair. She's had another child, and I just want to say, Baruch Hashem, she had another birthday this past week. Okay, I'm getting it in here. Also, Katie Rivers had a birthday this week. I'm just having a time putting this tzedakah in here, but that's great. That's great to have, isn't it, Frank? A hard time to put it in a tzedakah box. Also, Jason Shelton giving tzedakah for his birthday this week, and I'm praying I'm going to announce her name correctly. This is going to be a hard one right here. I can do it though. I can do it, Terry. Wavion Morgando. If I mispronounce your name, honey, I'm sorry, but we're giving tzedakah for your birthday this week. So, all right. And so, Terry, while I try to get this in the tzedakah box, you go ahead and take over. Hey, Larry, how you doing? Terry, go ahead and take over.
Good evening. I want to say, I believe I saw Sally Justice, I think, is headed to California. I think I saw something on that this week. So we want to wish her traveling mercies that she'll arrive to her destination and back home in safety and peace. And anyone that is traveling, actually my supervisor at work, I'm good friends with. He's headed to Kansas. It's a sad situation. His wife's grandfather passed away, so they're headed to Wichita. And so anyone traveling, want to wish you safety and peace in your journeys to and from your destination. So anything else, Scotty? I'll head on.
I want to give Sadaka for Sally Justice Travel, and then who did you say else was traveling? Who was that?
My manager at work, just Donnie. Donnie's good.
Okay,
because I don't know his wife's name. I know her, but I don't know her name.
We're giving Sadaka for them tonight.
Yeah, all right, they're leaving about midday in the morning or midday tomorrow, headed to Kansas.
Okay. Remember, if you impact your community today, your community will impact the world tomorrow. Go ahead, Terry.
I mean, okay, like I said, get your pens and paper out. Again, we're going to finish up our series on Psalms 145. We're going to be going through verses 19 through 21. Shouldn't have to be taking an hour and a half tonight with these. Shouldn't have to. It's we've actually said a lot pertaining to these passages because verse 18 and other verses actually, it all ties together. This whole, like we read from the beginning, Psalms 145, those wasn't here at the beginning, is when King David wrote it, it is a culmination of all the Psalms. Everything that's the Psalm says from chapter 1 through chapter 150, King David culminized it all in 145. In the Hebrew, there is 150 words, one for each psalm, and every subject that the Psalms has to cover, it says it all in Psalms 145. And it's very, like I said, it's my favorite psalm, and it's a good psalm too, that if you're struggling in prayer, maybe you don't know what to pray, maybe you know, like I said, a lot of times you want to pray, you want to connect with the Creator, but maybe you don't have the words. Grab this psalm and Psalms 145, pray it, meditate it slowly, you know, one verse at a time, and let it inspire your prayers and your thoughts toward the Creator, because it is so important. The Jewish people pray this psalm 3 times a day. And so it's got a lot of importance in the land of Israel, especially even for the Jews themselves. There's some certain things that it's special to them about. And for us, we've learned a lot, you know, over the last, I don't know what, month of going through this, month and a half going through this, that we can glean from it as well for us, those of us that are in the nations. Verse 19, he will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He will hear their cry and give them salvation. All right. You heard the word salvation. I know some people's mind goes off. Understand, when you read the word salvation in any of the Hebrew scriptures, it has nothing to do with a spiritual soul salvation. It's a salvation from peril, troubles, illnesses, enemies coming against you. It's about your physical life. It's a physical salvation from something that can bring harm to your physical life. But it says he will fulfill the desire of them that fears. It says God will fulfill the desires of those who because they fear him have no other wishes but such as would be in accordance with his will. Of those who subject all of their lives and ambitions to his direction, the Creator will grant the request of those who make his will their own. Now, like we've discussed before in the past, what is the will of the Creator? The will of the Creator is his instructions. like we were talking here a while ago, a mitzvot. The mitzvot is his will, his instructions, his commandments, his laws, however you want to translate it. Some people have a negative mindset toward those because of improper training of what they are. But God will fulfill the desires of those who's made his will their own. I mean, the commandments that he has given, and we're going to get into that a little bit here toward at the end of this, that we're going to get into talking about. We're going to come back to the fear of the Creator at the end of this. Like I said, God will grant the request of those who makes his will their own. From the very beginning of those who desire the fulfillment of their wishes, only if God will find them in to be conducive to their welfare and to that of their fellow man. And what's really interesting when you look at this, when he says that God will find them to be conducive to their own welfare and to that of their fellow man. Take and study, just read without implementing anything into the text, the book of Jonah. Very short book. Especially when you get to chapter 3, you're going to start seeing some things. And what you're going to find is that in the book of Jonah, when it says the Creator forgave them, it says he saw their deeds. Well, what deeds did he see? Forgiveness came on what the Creator saw them do. And what they've done was they began, and one of the commandments that was given to them was to put away the robbery that was in their hands. And that robbery also meant injustice. They began to correct how they treated one another, how they were in relationship with their fellow man. And that is one of the most important. You're going to think I'm probably crazy, but when you study this out, when you study the Hebrew scriptures, you're going to find that one of the most important issues with the Creator and mankind is how we treat one another. He will not even hear your prayer if you have an issue with a fellow man that's not been resolved. He cannot forgive you of a trespass or a sin against another person. You have to go take care of that yourself. Because you didn't sin, you did sin against God because the person's created in the image of God. But when you sin or you trespass against another person, you've got to take care of that. It's your responsibility. And that's all part of when you start living like this, you'll start beginning to understand what this means to fear the Creator. Again, we'll get back to that. It says, when such men cry out for deliverance of their existence from danger, again, in their human life, he will hear them and he will bring them a salvation, a deliverance. That's what David prayed a lot about. He was being chased by men from all his sides, family members, enemies. He was constantly being chased, and he was praying for deliverance from that. Verse 20, God will keep all of those that love him, and all of the lawless he will let perish. Those men who allow their own being to be absorbed by the love of God are his own acquisition. From the course of man's development, they represent the fruit of his work, the ones who he trains and guides. He will not allow them to be lost, but he will destroy all of those who want to have nothing to do with him or his law. If you don't want anything to do with the mitzvot, the commandments, the laws, the instructions, whatever word best suits your understanding. It says he, the Creator, will destroy those who will have nothing to do with his law and who believe that they can build their own way of life and their happiness upon selfish ways. Now I want to go back and I want to look at the Hebrew of this passage. Verse 20, God will keep all of those who love him, where it says, Shomer Hashem es kol oihavav. What is very interesting here, it says, God will keep. The word is shomer. It's generally translated as keep, observe. It's also translated as to guard. A watchman on a wall. That's on a wall. City's behind him. He's on the wall. He's watching for the coming enemies so he can alert the community that an attack is coming. It's called a shomer. It's a watchman. So if we look at this, God will keep all of those who love him. God will guard all of those who love him. God becomes the shomer. And I just thought of this little story that I learned in a class I was in several years ago at a synagogue in Atlanta. There was a man who, the teacher of the class wasn't able to be there that week. So this guy that filled in, he's really, really interesting gentleman. His dad was the chief rabbi of South Africa. And when he became of age, his dad told him, said, "You're a man now. We've taught you everything you need to do. Now it's for you to go out and you become the man and you take what we've taught you and go and live. Now it's time for you to learn and to make your own decisions, your own failures." So you know what he done? He went out and he joined the South African Army. And he became a sniper. And one day they went out and was going to do their the practicing where they go out and do the field things and stuff. And he went out and got his gun all set up and all that. And it wasn't very long. He heard his commanding officer calling his name. And he came down there. He said, in South Africa, he said, they got this worm. It's about like that big around, about yay long, yellow and black and all kinds of colors. He said, a lot of the guys in the Army, they eat these worms when they're out in the field because it's very dry there. He says, you'll dehydrate in a heartbeat. So they'll eat them. And he said, they can survive. It gives them not only the nourishment, but the water intake that they need if they don't have any water. He said, of course, I'm a Jew. He said, it's not kosher for me. I can't eat those things. So I'm standing in front of my general and he's got one of these huge worms in his hands. And he grabs my trousers and drops that thing right down to my trousers. He said, you'll march all day long with this in your pants. He goes, what did I do wrong? He said, this is to help you remember never to set up without your spotter. Your spotter is your life. You never set up without your spotter. And every day when you go out to do your practicing and your training, this will remind you, don't set up without your spotter. And so he went on to tell us that he said, a spotter, he says, when you're a sniper, your view is down a scope. You have tunnel vision. You can only see what's in that scope. Not only when you're looking that way, your hearing is not where it needs to be, because your focus is what's inside that scope, what you're looking at. He said, your spotter is your life. Your spotter sees everything that you can't see, hears everything you can't hear. Your spotter is there to warn you of any oncoming danger that you can't see because you got tunnel vision. Just like right here, it says God, the creator, will be a shomer, a watchman. He told us, he says, the creator is your spotter. In your life, you have tunnel vision, what's in front of you. You can't see the oncoming dangers. You can't hear the oncoming dangers. He says, and if you go in life without your spotter, it could cost you your life. He said, a sniper without a spotter is a dead sniper. And I've never forgotten, we're talking about, this goes back to like 2010, somewhere in there, that I heard him tell us that true life story he went through, that the creator is our spotter. He's our shomer. He's our guardsman who can see everything that you can't see and hear everything you can't hear. And if you set your life up without your spotter, you're not going to live long. I thought that was one of the best analogies I've ever, or not even a story, it's a true story based on an experience he got out in the field. And I just thought of that story as I was going through, because I was going through this morning, and that word shomer, the guardsman, that just reminded me of that the creator is our shomer. He is our spotter, because our vision is tunnel. It's a tunnel vision. Then he goes on and says, and all the lawless he will let perish. Well, the word that's translated lawless here is harashim. And some of your English translations, you're probably looking, well, mine doesn't say lawless, it says wicked. That's correct. See, the wicked are lawless. The rashim. So that teaches us something. If we're like right here, it says, he will destroy those who will have nothing with his law, nothing to do with his law. If you have nothing to do with the law of the creator, then you're a rashim. You're lawless. Well, my translation says wicked. A lawless person is wicked, and a wicked person is lawless. So think about that. This is an important lesson for us. For those that love God, and I'm not talking about just an emotional love, a love to where we are obeying and taking a part upon his commandments in our lives to do them the best that we can. We're not perfect. Wasn't created to be perfect. Was created to grow and to progress. Again, that's another teaching in Genesis chapter 4:7. It says, let my mouth declare the praises of God, God's mighty acts, so that all flesh may bless his holy name until the everlasting future, or Le'olam Va'ed. That's in the Hebrew, Le'olam Va'ed. In this Psalm of David, which he wishes to set down as his contribution to the ultimate future, which is still veiled in our eyes, is sure to come to pass. It is intended to proclaim the praises of the Creator, so that all men, Jew and non-Jew alike, may devote themselves to the knowledge, the acknowledgement, and worship of the Creator's name by faithfully serving him with all their lives. If you're not observing the commandments, which we're going to be getting even deeper into in our next series. Well, it's not even a series, our next journey. If you're not walking in the commandments that are commanded you as a human being, then you're not serving the Creator. Serving means to be doing something. I mean, why do we call waitresses servers? You know, they're bringing you your food, your drinks, they're keeping your table clean, they're keeping your, everything filled up. We call our military people servicemen. They're serving our country. They don't join the service and sit around the table and believe by faith that everything's going to take care of itself. No, they're serving. They're going out, putting their life in danger. They're learning how to do what their specialties are. They're serving our country. To serve the Creator is to do something, has nothing to do with belief and faith. It's just like what we always hear, we always tell, if you're married, you tell your spouse, well, I love you. The greatest love toward our spouse is when we show it by doing something, whether getting them flowers, helping clean the house. It's serving. Serving is doing. We can say, I love you all day long, but if we don't prove it by our actions, then it's just words. And it's the same thing with the Creator. King David, through this Psalm 145, is wanting all men to devote themselves to his knowledge, because knowledge is important. Because if you don't know certain things, you're not going to know how to serve him. You're gonna have to study, to learn, to gain knowledge on what you are to do. Just an example, I'm gonna go back to the military. Guy that joins the Army, well, he doesn't go and learn how to operate the engine of a boat or an aircraft carrier. Why? Because he's not in the Navy. He's going to learn his duties according to the post he's been assigned to. And that's what we do as non-Jews. We have been assigned a post. And in that post, there are duties. And that's what we were doing here at Torah for the Nations, is to help share with our brothers and sisters what our duties are as the non-Jewish nations. We're not left out. We're not left out without a duty to do and to serve the Creator. Now I want to fall back to where we began tonight. In verse 19, he will fulfill the desires of those who fear him. Now, Rabbi Pesach, Scotty and I's personal teacher and rabbi, which rabbi means teacher, he's our personal teacher. This is one of his favorite passages. It's Ecclesiastes. Write this down in your notes. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And verse 13. Now I'm going to read it in the English, and then we'll go back through and explain this. The sum of the matter, when all has been considered: fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The biggest thing to understand is this last verse doesn't actually say in the Hebrew that it is man's whole duty or the duty of man. It says, Ki zan kol ha'adam. What it literally says is this is the whole man, the complete man. What is the complete man? The man who fears God and keeps his commandments. Out of all of the wisdom of King Solomon, after he had tested and done everything that he could do in his humanity, through all of his wisdom, through everything that he had saw his entire life. He says the sum, the bottom line is this: fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the complete man. There's nothing else you can add to your life beyond those two things. And the fearing of God is the reverence and the awe of his power. The reverence and the awe of his power. And it says, keep his commandments. This is where the knowledge comes in. Because not every commandment that the Creator spoke was commanded to you. So many pick up, the scriptures and they'll read, it's like, oh, it's speaking to me. No, there's a lot there. The majority of the Hebrew scriptures has nothing to say to you. So you have to learn what is being said to you. And that is the job of the Israeli nation, the Jewish people as we know it today. How do we know this? Isaiah chapter 2. We're going to go up to many of the nations will go up to his holy mountain. It says, let him teach us his ways and we'll walk in his paths. Well, who do you think will be teaching us? The Levites, the Kohanim, the priest of the temple will be teaching us. The other Jews will be teaching us. How do we know that? Zechariah chapter 8, 23. Said in those days, 10 men of all the languages of the nations will grab the garment of a Jew. It says that in Hebrew, Yehuda. He will grab a Yehuda, a Jew, as it says in English. And it says, we've heard that God is with you. Take us with you. We go to them to learn what God expects of us. That is their duty. That's their job, is to teach us. And what Scotty and I share here is what we have been taught that you're supposed to do. This is your place in the world. And it's an amazing, amazing place. Some people look at the scriptures and they'll read, well, the Jewish people, they're called out, they're the called ones. Yeah, they're called to do a special duty. They're selected to do a duty. What is that duty? To be a light to the nations. What is a light to the nation? They're a teacher. They're a teacher. They teach us our part to play, our part. And it's amazing when you really get into, and we're going to be getting into what we have been taught, what we have been shown. And I'm going to show you in a way that I don't think the majority of ever have really looked at. Because when you hear about the laws of God, there's a negative thought, especially in the Western world. I'm going to show you the will and the purpose of God for mankind that we have been shown, that our Jewish brothers and sisters have shared with us. Before, they couldn't, for 2,000 years, they couldn't share this because they get killed, gathered up and slaughtered. But in the day that we are in now, that has gone by the wayside. And now they're able to be the lights that God wanted them to. That's because we're in a special time. We're in a special time. And it's happening all over the world. It's happening all over the world. It's like we've got one of the gentlemen here in our class has written some children books on the 7 laws, written so children can learn them. And he shared with us the other night that, he just put out his 2nd book and he's getting requests for it to be translated in other languages. And I think, and he could correct me, I think he said there was a teacher in Egypt who's over 7 schools or something like that, wants to teach the children in Egypt these 7 instructions for mankind. So it's not just here in the United States. it's actually going on more in the other side of the world than it is here. We're playing catch up for what's going on.
I spoke today. Can I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead.
I spoke today to Rabbi Avram Frank, who's the head of Moment of Silence, who's the one that they contacted from Egypt because they want to teach Moment of Silence as well as teaching the Sheva Mitzvahs. And he said that he actually was scheduled to speak to them this week. So
Wow.
it's in process. I currently have 4 translations going on, and we're looking for 3 or 4 others.
That's great. That's awesome news.
Yeah, it's really, 3 years ago, it would have been incomprehensible to me how quickly this is growing.
It's the nations are really at a point where if we will listen, we will hear that God is with Israel, and we will hear what God has told them to tell us.
I started teaching at home a Sheva Mitzvah class, and it went from 1 person to now 4 or 5. And every week it's almost doubling.
Wow. Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. So listen, you should keep doing what you're doing. You have phenomenal brachas in what you're doing. And only know you're carrying out Hashem's mission in the world. The brachas are unbelievable.
Thank you. And my brothers and sisters, American brothers and sisters, and let me just say North America too, with Canada and South America, the American continent. There is a lot going on the other side of the world where we're at. I mean, what we're studying right here. We're playing catch up. And I'm just we've got to lay our religious ideologies down and hear what the Creator wants us to do, and not only do, but to be, and following these 7 instructions. And like I said, we're going to be getting into the details of these. So I know that I'm going to be getting questions like, well, what are they? What are they? We've mentioned them, but we're going to get into even more details that'll help. Matter of fact, in this one book I got today, it has nothing to do with the 7 mitzvahs. It's something I've been looking and wanting for a long time. Been in my wish list. Well, I can't say a long time, for at least a year, because Rabbi Sachs passed away back in 2020 of cancer that came back. But in the introduction of this last book that he wrote before his passing, he says, a free society is a moral achievement. And over the last 50 years, in the West, this truth has been forgotten, ignored, and denied. And when we speak of these 7 instructions, we're going to be getting into morals and ethics that the West has forgotten because we've chose to be more about the market and economy than we have morality. And I'm just giving some snippets here of our next study. I've talked with Scotty a little bit about it. But back to Ecclesiastes. When everything is over with, when everything has been done, fear the Creator. Stand in awe of his power. How can you do that? Find you a place in a city park or a country road. Walk in the field. Gaze at the variety of vegetation around you. And there was a maker that made every one bit of it. Scotty and I have talked about, and I don't have it here with me, but Scotty and I have talked about in the previous, you really want to start getting into the awe. You can look at it with your eyes. But take a leaf, a blade of grass, grab you a magnifying glass, hold up and take a deeper look. If you want to get deeper, get a microscope and look deeper and deeper. Every time you look deeper into nature, you're going to see more that you can't see with your eyes and even with your own mind. And you're going to begin to see and feel even within yourself the fear, not just the fear like being afraid, but the awe and the awesomeness of the Creator. Everything. I mean, there are plants here in East Tennessee, right behind me, right Middle Tennessee, right behind me where my daughter lives. These beautiful, beautiful mountains and the Caney Fork River flowing there through them. Then if you go north into Canada, there's vegetation that's not here. You go south into South America and Brazil and the Amazon, there are plants down there that couldn't grow here. You go to the Philippines, you go over to Saudi Arabia into the deserts and the plants that are over there. This earth is full of the glory of the Creator. And the further you look into it, it just couldn't have happened. You'll begin to develop that awe of the Creator. And when that awe begins to come on, then you're going to start, it says, and keep His commandments. The commandments that's your duty, your part, not someone else's part. There's things that the Jewish people do that I'm not permitted to do because that's their part. It has nothing to do with me. I've got to do my part. I've got to learn and be taught what my part is. Just like when you go to get a new job, you go into a new position, there's other positions all around you, but you're not learning theirs. You're learning what you just got hired to do. And that's what we're learning through Torah for the Nations. We're learning our job that we were created to do. And we're learning those commandments that pertain to that duty, to that position. And it's beautiful. And as King David ended this, flip back over here, because I love these words, because when I was studying for almost 7 years to become a part of the nation of Israel, this is part of the prayers that you learn. And let my mouth to declare the praises of God. Let my mouth declare your praise. When you go and you set out and it's the whole, you become a complete person when you fear the Creator and do His commandments. And when you learn what you're supposed to do in your place in the Creator, your place within the creation, not only will you let your mouth declare the praises of the Creator, you will let your actions declare the praises of the Creator. Scotty, anything else? Because that's all I had there. I knew it wasn't going to take very long today on these, but because really, when you get into the last couple of verses, everything that they say, we've already said.
Yeah. I really love you brought in the text that said this is the final, this is it. You know, if you want to weigh your life down, if you want to or look at everything in your life, what's going to count in your life is having reverence for God and doing His commandments, His mitzvot.
That's all there is.
Yeah.
You know, and okay, some of y'all like mystical stuff. Well, I'm going to throw you a little bit of mystical in just to help those who like some mystical. We're ending this study of Psalms 145 with two elements: fear the Creator, keep His commandments. If we go all the way back to the beginning, Scotty knows my favorite, Bereshit, the book of Genesis. First word is Bereshit, translated in the beginning. The first letter of the Torah, the instructions of the Creator, is a bait, has the numerical value of 2. And there is something about 2 that I have seen a lot in learning my duties with the Creator. You have good, evil, day, night. Now we have fear the Creator, keep his commandments. So if we listen to what Solomon is saying, the sum of the matter is fear the Creator. The bottom line is fear God, keep his commandments. 2 things. And the number 2 starts out in the Torah. Starts with 2. And our duties end with 2. Fear God, keep his commandments. That's just a little bit of a esoteric, I guess you might say. Did I use the right word there, Scotty?
Sounded
you're
good.
You're the vocabulary guy.
Yeah, sounded good to
all
me.
Those hermeneutics and nougat, and I can't say all the words you say.
sounded great to me, Terry. Great class. Great meeting. Thank you so much.
That last bit was a little for fun.
Yeah, I could tell you was really enjoying it. So all right. Well,
we got any questions, Scotty? Any comments or anything?
No, actually, it's quiet tonight. I don't think there's any questions over on the YouTube or Facebook. I appreciate Annuel and Thomas kindly keeping a watch on those things over there. And on the radio, everybody just giving thumbs up. Awesome teaching, awesome class. Thank you for the whole series, all that. So a lot of them's been there the whole time you've went through Psalms 145. So they've been there. And
well, if you no questions, then I want to share a little bit. God willing, we're going to start a new study. And this is not going to be necessarily a series, it's a study. It's going to go on for a little while. How long? I don't know. Because of the direction that I see that I need to take this. For conversation's sake, you can write down in your notes what we're going to be doing is discussing divine civilization, and the Noahide laws. We're going to be talking about the divine will for human society. What you think there, Scotty?
I think it's awesome. Now we're going to start that next Wednesday night.
We're going to be starting that next Wednesday night. Divine civilization and the Noahide laws.
That's going. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. So all right. Well, Terry, thank you so much. Everybody, please remember Rabbi Pesach Sherbo in your prayers. We haven't heard from him other than now. Terry, you heard the other day he was going home, correct?
He mentioned I text with him. What is today? Monday morning. Yeah, we did our thing Sunday night. Monday morning, I texted him around 10 o'clock our time, and that's so I had 6 hours to make it Israel time. And he was supposed to be going home. I think he said Tuesday. Supposed to be, but I hadn't heard.
All right. Well, we'll keep our prayers going, and we don't know about Sunday night yet. I haven't heard a no, but I haven't heard a yes either. So you just kind of keep watch on B'nai Noach Connection with Israel Facebook page, and we'll be glad to let everybody know and try to share it around, and hopefully he'll be here on Sunday night. Everybody's looking forward to seeing him. It's been what? Has it been a year since
I know, almost been probably close to a year at least.
close to a
not
year?
more.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing him. I want to thank again Amuela Asher. We call her Yeoman Asher. She helps out on the Facebook page. She's given that. She always, Terry, I want to say, when you give out a text, boom, there it is. She grabs that text and posts it on the Facebook page so that people want to go over and read that with you. I think that's you doing that, ain't it, Amuela? And that I figured it was. So she is very computer savvy. We may have to get together and have Amuela teach us a few things on the computer. And then, of course, Thomas is working on the YouTube channel. He kind of watches the questions, brings questions on over, and we appreciate that. It's good to see you tonight, Frank. Baruch Hashem. And Frank is one of our leaders here in Tennessee, B'nai Noach leaders. And then we got Larry. Larry, it's always good to see you.
From Texas?
From Texas. Larry is down there from where you can throw an egg up in the air, and when you catch it, it is hard boiled. So, and we got Wendell with us tonight, and Veronica Port, and my lovely wife. It says Annie Helton, but her name is Dolores. And I'm going to try this. Yachmel. Did I do that correctly? Are you proud of me or what?
I'm impressed.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yes. Or where do you live at? Let me put it that way.
I'll give you a guess.
I'm going to say.
I'll even give you a hint. I was a lot closer to the convention than I ever would have imagined I would be, but unfortunately we couldn't make it.
Oh, are you here? Are you a fellow Tennessean?
Close, a little bit east.
Okay, so you're probably in the Carolinas or Virginia.
Yeah, we moved to North Carolina, to Jacksonville 6 months ago.
Jacksonville. How far is that from? I know where Bryson City's at. I vacationed over in Bryson City.
I have.
It's in the east. It's in the eastern or in the western mountains.
All I know is the closest shul to me, until I get one going, is over an hour away.
Okay.
I mean, the plan is to open a Noah Heights Center and a shul out of the house.
That's cool.
And hopefully in 2 years, you guys can all come to me.
There you go. We can do that.
We're in the Carolinas. My wife decided that I'm really 25 years old, despite what the clock says, and that it's time to start a shul.
Okay.
So Jacksonville is about 7 hours from us, a little over 7 hours. But Yachmel, I want to say something. We are going to be traveling out to Myrtle Beach area.
So come visit.
Yeah, in September. So I may have to give you a holler, and I'd love to meet up.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I probably should never say this publicly, but our home typically, like on an average holiday, we'll have people coming to us with like zero knowledge beforehand. Somebody once asked me how much warning we need. I said 15 minutes would be a nice. It would be a miracle,
Oh well, Yachmil, you keep your eyes open and
let me know when you guys. We have room. Whatever you need, just let me know.
We would just stop in and say hello. But I would love to meet you on our travels. And I think I'm doing great with your name. How do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing a lot better than most people. The truth is, I think people get scared with names with more than 7 or 8 letters. Because the truth is, if you just pronounce it syllable by syllable, it's really straightforward.
So you're hooked on phonics. Might work there, Scotty.
I'm leaving out the R. I'm leaving out the R. I just look. You're okay. I'll wait and try it off air.
No, it's it's kind of funny because depending on where someone's from, in the world, their accent changes.
Yeah.
And Yerachmiel is one of the few names that between Sephardim and Ashkenazim doesn't change.
Well,
so
I can see that.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you what I could use. I would love to do another video with a new book with children reading each page and just put it out there for people to have.
Oh, that would be great.
I'm looking for children, and I'm going anywhere from beginning able to read in a clear way up through the teens.
That would be
talk to Shara.
Yeah, no, I've spoken to her. She actually helped quite a bit with the book.
Okay, cool.
But email me. Anybody wants a copy, email me text me your email and I'll send it out.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem.
And we might come up, Frank, we might come up with something for East Tennessee. Maybe do a Zoom, if you would be willing to do a Zoom with us, and we can get some of our kids around and do something that for East Tennessee or whole state Tennessee, whatever. And we can put it on. We've got a couple YouTube channels that we are members of that we can put on there and help spread it.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, I'm going to bring us to a close. And y'all, as I said, continue to remember Rabbi Pesach Sherbo. We thank everybody for coming in tonight. We thank everybody that spent some time with us there on YouTube, and also B'nai Noach Connection with Israel Facebook page. Remember, give the thumbs up, subscribe to the channels, and share the videos. We would greatly appreciate it. We know Rabbi Pesach Sherbo would appreciate that as well. Until next Wednesday night, that's Eastern Standard Time. Next Wednesday, New York time. We'll miss you, but we'll see you Wednesday night.
We'll see later.
Later.